Top 5 day hikes in Torres del Paine. Located in the southern tip of Chile lies the iconic Torres del Paine National Park with its jaw-dropping mountains, shimmering blue lakes, and incredible hiking fit for every level. Often hailed as one of the top places to hike in the world, made famous from the ever-popular W&O multi-day treks, Torres is a must-visit for any hiking enthusiast. But what if you preferred not to do a 5 or 8 day backcountry hike with a massive backpack weighing on you and tenting every night?
I don't go camping!
Should you not visit Torres del Paine at all? Of course you should. There are so many beautiful landscapes that can be enjoyed simply with a day hike. From the iconic Las Torres granite towers, the flowing waters of Salto Grande, and our personal favorite, the dramatic peaks of Los Cuernos, this is a must-visit national park for everyone. In this video, we'll go through our top 5 best day hikes ranging from easy 1-hour walks to challenging 8-hour treks. Let's begin with what we consider to be the most underrated day hike in all of Torres del Paine, Mirador Ferrier. Located on the western side of the national park, Mirador Ferrier is considered a moderate trek with stunning views of Lago Grey, Los Cuernos, and Paine Grande mountains, as well as various glaciers. This out-and-back hike takes roughly 3 hours to complete at a distance of 5.6 kilometers round trip and 600 meters in elevation gain. Having your own vehicle is by far the best way to reach this hike, as there's a large parking lot and you don't need to fight for a parking spot. By typing in Guarderia Grey on Google Maps, you'll be led right to the trailhead. If you wanted to reach it by bus, you can take it to Hotel Lago Grey, then take a 20-minute walk to the trailhead. Just before starting to hike, you do need to register yourself at the park ranger's office, where they'll give you some information.
As Lauren mentioned, with the distance, what's interesting is that for give or take about half of the hike here at the beginning, it's actually relatively flat. So all the elevation is gonna come at the end, and that's gonna burn our legs completely. But this is gonna be a great workout. Hopefully the views up there is gonna be absolutely amazing. I can't believe how quickly it got so steep from flat, narrow path to these crazy steep stairs. But look at that view.
Oh, wow.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Something that we highly suggest that you guys wear for this trek is pants. I know some of you love to hike in shorts because it might get a little hot, but trust me, with these sharp bushes brushing up against your leg, it kind of hurts. Even though I'm wearing pants, I can feel it too. It was getting so hot that I took off my jacket, but I realized this might be a mistake. These things are not gentle. Ah, my arms.
To be honest, when we searched up this hike online, the photos weren't that convincing to us. The views didn't look that great. But throughout, as we've been walking here, our minds completely changed. The view is actually so beautiful, and you can see the gorgeous mountains with Los Cuernos, Paine Grande, and another mountain to my right that I'm not too sure the name of. And Lago Grey is constantly revealing itself more and more. We can actually see the beach and a huge blue iceberg right beside it.
At about the halfway point, they actually created a nice little rest area for you. That's really nice and flat. You get these beautiful views. You can see Lake Peoe in the back. You can see Lago Grey. You can also see Glacier Grey out in the distance. And what's really interesting is that you can actually take a little read of this bulletin, which gives you some information as to why it's called Ferrier. And that's because this entire area was discovered about 130 years ago by a British chap named Walter Ferrier. That was so insanely windy up there. Literally every step you take, you felt like you're about to be blown over, but the views are so amazing. Not only can you see Glacier Gray, but you also see two other glaciers. Absolutely beautiful. This has to be one of the most underrated hikes in the entire Torres del Paine National Park.
Heading towards central Torres del Paine, we'll reach our favorite trail in the entire national park, Mirador Los Cuernos. Not only do you get the most incredible views along the way, such as Los Cuernos, Paine Grande, Salto Grande, Lake Peoe, and Lake Nordenskjold, it's also a trail that is quite easy to accomplish. With an elevation gain of only 160 meters over 6.4 kilometers, this 2-hour trail is perfect for families or anyone looking to take it easy. Believe us when we say the views we got on this easy trail were better than anywhere else in the park. To get here, make your way over to Estancia Pudeto, either by car or by bus to begin your journey.
Even though we just started this trail, probably like 5 minutes in, you can see Lake Peoe looking so blue. And of course you can see those Cuernos, all those peaks right over there. I honestly can't wait to get to Mirador because the views are just gonna be spectacular.
The views along this trail are so magnificent. Not only do we have the Patagonian mountains right in front of us with Los Cuernos and Paine Grande, but on both sides of the trail, the meadows are just filled with these dead trees. Now it might sound weird when I say that, but if you really look up closely, the texture that these trees give are so incredible. It's sad because there was a wildfire, unfortunately, that killed them, and that's why this area is so protected. That's why they don't want you to walk past the trail. They usually have defined rocks along each side of the trail to tell you, hey, don't walk here. This whole area is protected. We've got a lot of native species of plants and shrubs that we want to keep and allow to grow.
By far the most popular trek in all of Torres del Paine, Mirador Las Torres, is often the hike you see when searching up Patagonia hikes online, and for good reason. The tall 3 granite towers overlooking the blue alpine lake make for the most iconic and rewarding moment in the national park. The towers are so famous that the park is actually named after them. However, this is not an easy hike by any means, and it sure gets busy. The trail to Las Torres is actually part of the W and O circuits. Now add on the day hikers and the trail gets packed, so we cannot stress enough to start this trek as early as possible. To get here, make your way over to the Torres del Paine Welcome Center by car or bus. This is the starting point for your 24-kilometer, 900-meter elevation gain, 8-hour hike.
This trail honestly isn't super difficult to follow. You just gotta watch out for these yellow markers that will indicate which direction you need to go in. Because sometimes there may seem like there's more than one trail because one might be for horses. Just as long as you follow those markers, you're good to go.
A lot of people do recommend that you bring hiking poles with you. So if you didn't bring any with you along this trip, you can also rent them in town and most of the time at your accommodation. You can see the trail that goes all along the side of the mountain. Right here, we're gonna loop around and hopefully we'll hit halfway pretty soon here.
This forested trail is definitely so nice to walk along. It gives a nice little break before the final section, which is by far the hardest. Now the trail kind of breaks down like this. The first 3 kilometers takes 2 hours to complete. The next 3 kilometers, which is where we are walking on right now, takes only an hour for all 3 kilometers. And the final part, for just 1 kilometer, it takes a full hour because of how steep it is, and there's gonna be a bit of scrambling at the end. So right now, we're just enjoying this trail, resting up our legs before that final treacherous section. We're in the home stretch now, finally. You can see Las Torres right over there, but there's not the lake yet. So we kind of have to go all the way in, get to the bottom, and that's where we're gonna get the best view of Las Torres.
Heading back to the central western side of the park, you'll find the trek up to Mirador Condor. This short 1-hour trek, while not very long at only 2.4 kilometers round trip, is still a good leg burner, going up 200 meters in elevation over the short distance. Along the way, you're met with incredible views of Lake Peoe and Los Cuernos. At the top, take a moment to enjoy the sweeping views of the Chilean Patagonia mountains, and you can even see the hotel we stayed at, Osteria Peoe, on an island in the middle of the lake. Make sure to check out our stay there by clicking the pop-up banner at the top. Getting here is a bit tricky and you do need a car. The parking lot is not well defined, but drive just 100 meters north of Camping Lago Peoe and you'll find a small pull-out area to park before hitting the trail.
Right now we are doing the hike up to Mirador Condor. This is rated at a medium difficulty by the parks because of the elevation gain is a little bit steep, but it only takes about an hour and a half round trip. Over there you can see the crazy blue of Lake Peoe, and right there you can see Paine Grande and a little bit of Los Cuernos as well.
The path along this hike is pretty narrow. Sometimes you'll have blades of grass or other plants brushing up against you, just like that. And I would say it's pretty exposed, so make sure you put on some sunscreen, especially since most of the trees around here are still dead, unfortunately, due to some of the wildfires that they experience in the park.
Finally, on the very eastern side of the national park, you'll find a relatively unknown trail where you'll certainly have some peace and quiet. Mirador Sierra Masle is located right at Laguna Azul, which is a beautiful lake to enjoy the views before heading on the hike. From here and along the trail, you'll catch glimpses of Las Torres. You do need a vehicle to access this side of the park as it's more remote, and along the drive we saw so many adorable guanacos that we stopped quite a few times to admire them. After reaching the Laguna Azul campsite, walk further west along the somewhat defined trail and soon you'll be met with a sign to begin your hike. At 2.8 kilometers long, 160 meters in elevation, this is definitely one of the more relaxing treks that you can save for an evening.
The entire time that we're hiking out, we're just so tempted to constantly look behind us because that's where the view is. That's where the lake is, that's where the Patagonian mountains are. We just can't wait to get up to the Mirador to get the perfect viewpoint because especially right now above those peaks, you have this nice layer of cloud.
We hope you enjoyed our guide to some of our favorite day hikes here in Torres del Paine, and let us know in the comments below which hike is at the top of your list when you visit this side of Chile.